Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This battle has already commenced and we're looking at a VK7201K. It's a tier 10 German heavy tank. It's located on the southwest spawn of highway and it's under the command of jksoler. Now there are reasons why some people are starting the battle already, well, a little way through. It's sometimes because either their program didn't load or they were having difficulty with their telecommunications, but it appears in this case that JK is, well, just a little delayed. Now the main gun on this one, because this is a premium tank, is capable of 750 alpha. It's a 15 centimeter main gun and it can penetrate 246 millimeters with standard ammo. There you go. And with the premium heat rounds which he's loaded, it's 350 millimeters. Okay, he is capable of actually firing HE and getting 950 alpha, but only 85 millimeters of pen from those. Now in design, this tank is very similar to the Panzer VII. Of course, rear mounted turret, engine up front, and you can see the turret is actually looks slightly, well, fairly the same, but there's a few differences. This is a reward tank that was actually given out to the first 3,000 in the Clan Wars. So if you've got one of these, you obviously are a good player, you've been playing a lot, and you were rewarded by wargaming. Now it is a rare tank, but more and more people are getting it. I believe that wargaming are giving out a few. Okay, now he went to that corner, and instead of actually turning into the corner, so he was actually side scraping it, he pushed until his front was actually facing around the corner. That's inviting the enemy to actually take a shot at you. If he's doing it right now, this is, you know, turned into a corner and let the enemy expose themselves. In fact, well, we lost the Sharp Future 4, punched around in through our front quarter. Now remember, the driver's up front, so he's the one who's going to suffer if we get hit. And we are being hit, but we're being hit the tracks, so the tracks are stopping it for the moment. You can also see there's two rather big cupolas right on top of the turret. But it looks like the enemy is having a bit of difficulty trying to get through our armor. And both of our first aid and repair kits are on cooldown at the moment. Only the one shot that we've made which bounced, and we're waiting to get some actual damage. Yes, he's doing it correct now because he's not letting the front of the vehicle get to a position where the enemy can actually get a shot in, but he's actually blocking a lot of damage. That's better! A low roll, but 663 he did get a pen. And the XM pops when the defender gets a kill. Here comes the 252U. Well, he's 2 tiers lower than this tank. And so, yeah, he's about to take a lesson. Well, we go for the Type 53 first. So Type 63, sorry. Now, angle. Okay, took that one through the tracks. There you go. This is where the HE rounds would actually be quite useful, because then you can immobilize the guy and track him and then get some damage. Even if they side scrape, they're not going to be able to withstand those HE rounds at close range. Oh, E100. Lower plate. Yes, goes straight through. Knife through butter. And now we're bouncing shells from that Sharp Future. So we've got that corner there. You can just see there's a bit of a corner that you can actually plant the front of the nose into. And he's pumping rounds still, but that one, it looks like the E100 was blocked. but he did manage to get 811 hit points. It's the high roll. Okay, do it again. He goes for the flat part, didn't go. No, not that spot there. And that sounds like their 252U's just gone down, but we've also lost our IS-32. Now, change a bit. That's it, that's it, that's it. That's nice. 803, that's a high roll. Now we can side scrape him, but our teammate shoots him, and that's him out the game. Sharp Future is still trying to punch rounds through with that 105mm. I mean, we took a T57 heavy 120mm round through the side. Okay, we're going to force this Sharp Future 4 out. Hello, you are going to get hold. Yep, and that one went through. Again, that would have been a good one for an HE round, because the HE would easily have penetrated the Sharp Future 4's rear and would have done a 950 alpha or thereabouts. Okay, so what have we got over here? T57 heavy. And we got him in the magazine, and that's 788, and that might be the high caliber so far. So he's doing a lot of damage. 5,346. Go for it again. No, that one hit the armor, but the guy does go down to our EBR 105, and we're now 4 tanks up on the enemy. So jksoler's doing a really good job here. He has lost a lot of hit points. He's only got 569 left, but just look at the amount he's blocked and the amount he's actually done. He's actually having a whale of a time. And you can see some of the enemy tanks have fired at his weak spots to try and get them through, and they did apparently get them through. We just got spotted. I don't think that's a proximity spot. I think somebody up the far end who we couldn't see saw us. And in fact, there he is. In fact, it's the Centurion 7-1, and that was a 105mm round. Okay, we need to get into cover. Otherwise, we are going to go out the game with the next hit. So, angle. Oh, SU-130 PM. Now would be the great time for the HE. He did get that one in. And unfortunately, we did go down. I think you can see that there's a lot of... there's a lot of benefits of actually having HE in this thing, because you really can damage some of these enemy tanks, especially the ones with weak armor. But unfortunately, we did get hit by the SU-130 PM and taken out. So we're out the game, but there's still 3 enemy tanks out there. And, well, they're facing 7 of ours. So I think we're probably going to win this one. So I think we can probably decide to actually join the action, and let's see what's actually going on over here. Now, as far as I can make out at the moment, the enemy tanks are somewhere in this vicinity. Just can't see them. Oh, there they are. And in fact, it's the Centurion, and there's the SU-130 PM. Just those 2 left now. SU-130 takes a big hit. And the SU-130 goes down, and that counts towards a Confederate for us. And the Centurion goes down, and that's the winning of the battle. jksoler sent this one in to me because he was rather pleased with himself, because he got the best result he'd ever had in a VK7201K. He got a 3rd class tanker out of that one, as well as a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle. He got the cool headed for blocking at least 10 ricochets non-penetrating shots in a row, the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and on top of that, he got a Confederate hitting more of the enemy than anyone else in his team. His win rate, 3,530, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, despite the fact that he didn't get any kills, he got 6,141 hit points, and that qualified him for the high caliber. The second highest damage in the game went to the Hori 3 on the enemy team with 5,098, And the third highest, well, that was that T57 Heavy. He put a couple of rounds into us. He got 3,931 hit points, but in the end he did go down. When it came to kills, we can see top scorer was the IS-32 with 4 kills. 2 kills went to the ISU 152K, the EBR 105, and on the enemy team, their Hori 3 and their T57 Heavy and their Medved. Unfortunately, jksoler didn't get any kills, but actually, as I said, that does help him in a sense, because he got the Confederate, and if he actually had got kills, that might have stopped him from getting it. And when it came to base XP, we can see top scorer was the Hawk 30, 1021, which suggests to me that he did a lot of spotting. 956 went to the IS-32, 910 went to the Type 61, and there in 4th place we can see, yes, jksoler, 889. He fired 14 rounds in that game, got 11 direct hits on the enemy and 8 penetrations. Well, it did help that he was using the heat rounds. 6,141 hit points of damage, all of it done at close range. 23 hits received from the enemy. Only 7 of those were penetrations, 16 non-penetrations, 5,500 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 6 enemy vehicles were damaged, none were killed, but he did get a lot of damage. Let's have a look at the credits. We can see he actually made a loss, 42,260, and that's nearly all down to the fact that he was firing a lot of heat. He really needs to consider using a fair amount of HE, because if he actually switched to HE in some of those instances, like the SU-130PM or the Sharp Future 4, he would have got a huge amount of damage on those guys, because the shell would have gone right through them and given him a nice yield, which would have made him very, very happy indeed. So, made a loss on credits, but he did make a positive on bonds. He got 155 out of that game, and that's partially down to a mission achievement, and 5,402 experience points out of that game as well, with 2,668 for completing a mission. So well done there to jksoler. Difficult tank to handle, but it's very much like the Panzer VII, and there are other tanks as well that are very much the same. This tank was actually designed and made by, or not made by, it was designed by Krupp as one of the alternatives for a super heavy tank. And they also did the VK7201, which existed in blueprints, and that was actually the Löwe. VK7001K, or this was known as the fail Löwe, you might say. But anyway, it is a rare tank, and of course Hitler in the end wanted the Maus instead of this particular tank. The Maus, well, big all round, whereas this thing is beefier up front, so it's basically designed to side scrape on the enemy, or at least to defend itself against a huge onslaught of enemy tanks coming towards it, and just sit there with that huge engine in front of the crew. And so even if the driver dies, the crew is still going to be able to fight. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like, and thank you for watching.